up, Simlings? Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. I'm Nay, I play The Sims. Let's get into it. This is my first attempt at building a tiny home. I decided to go for a tiny vampire home. So I figured vampires usually live in massive castles, but maybe not all vampires have the budget for a massive castle, so I would give them a tiny castle. My original intention was obviously to go as tiny as possible with the 32 by 32 squares, but there was no way that was happening, so we ended up with the tier 2 tiny home. I have no idea why I started building this in the dark, but well, hey, it's daytime now. I started off this build with a turret because I figured every castle needs a turret, or it's somewhat of a turret. It's only one story, that's about as tall as you can get with a tiny home. Went with a lot of dark brick and dark woods for a dark gothic feel. I built this tiny home with 2 vampires in mind, so I just put a double bed in there, and that's about as many as you're going to fit in here. I got to admit, I was in a hella bad mood when I built this. I sort of entered the game thinking, oh, you know, I'll build a house and I'll feel so much better afterwards, and then I had so much of a struggle building this that I just ended up in an even worse mood afterwards. But here's me thinking, for some reason, that I can build multiple stories and that the 64 by 64 tiles only applied to each story, and I could just have infinite stories. That shows you, like, how out of it I was when I built this. And I'm still kind of in a bad mood now for the same reasons that I was when I built this. And also, if I'm speaking really fast, I'm on my 3rd cup of coffee and it's only like 11 AM and I can feel my heart trying to bash its way out of my chest wall. Just messing around with the roof here. Didn't do anything fancy with the roofing tools. Didn't think they would need any kind of skylights because a vampire would not want to invite the sunlight into the house. And then just playing around with some paving options, just a little bit of landscaping, hoping that wouldn't add to my tile count, which it didn't, so hooray for that. Just, the inside of this house, I nearly gave up. This whole tiny home thing is such a challenge. It's actually, I was surprised how hard it was to actually decorate in a way that is both functional and attractive. Not only could I find a layout that I liked, and I couldn't figure out where to put any of the furnishings, I also couldn't pick any sort of colour scheme that I liked. As you can see, I started here trying to go for like a creamy and dark wood kind of vibe, and I ended up changing that and going just classic, like black and red, because I'm boring, I guess, but also just the whole 50 Shades of Beige thing is too Edward Cullen for me. Nah. I do turn the move objects cheat on and off. I find when you build with move objects on, you can forget sometimes about actual functionality, and then you have problems like doors not opening, not being able to access appliances, being able to get in and out of bed. So I sort of turn that off as I'm on and off as I'm decorating. I ended up changing the internal layout of the house a little bit. I had originally wanted like an entertainment area in the turret, and I was going to leave the bedroom towards the back corner as you were seeing there, but then ended up putting the bedroom in the turret and putting the more sort of entertaining room in that back square. I also added a kitchen because that makes perfect sense for creatures that don't need to eat. But I suppose if you're going for like a friendly vampire vibe and they're wanting to invite people over, or if you're just looking to enslave some people and you're trying to entice them to come in, you could cook for them if that's your kind of jig. And then picking lot traits, which is both one of my favourite and least favourite activities to do. For this house I went with Registered Vampire Lair, Romantic Aura and Vampire Nexus. It was setting the Registered Vampire Lair trait that reminded me that we need a letterbox to get all of our mail from our vampire pen pals. Let's talk hindsight for a second. If I was to redo this house, I would scrap the kitchen altogether, guests be damned. I would make the turret the entertainment, or perhaps the living area. That's my phone going off in the background there, I'm just going to ignore that. I would maybe put the bedroom somewhere in that back rectangle. Yeah, I'm happy with it. It's cute, but it could have been a lot better. But any hoozle, I think I'll leave it there for the voiceover, and I'll let you enjoy the rest of me struggling to build this tiny house. I'm going to go get a drink of water, eat some salad, because that sounds like the right thing to do right now. Please do likey the video if you did indeed likey the video. Also commenty and subscribey. Thank you for sticking around, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this video and you enjoy the rest of your day. See you later.